All right, today we're jumping into this incredible, timeless story from ancient Sri Lanka. It's all about a simple man, a really profound promise he made, and a destiny that was, well, quite literally written in the stars. So, how on earth did he pull it off? Let's find out.
So get this. This is the mystery at the heart of it all. On one hand, you've got this guy, THISSA. He's just a humble tailor living in the ancient city of Anuradhapura. And on the other, a literal palace in the sky. Magnificent and just waiting for him. So the big question is, how does a regular guy earn a reward like that? That's the story we're going to unpack.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning, with the man himself. To really get how he ended up with a palace in the heavens, we've got to look at his life on Earth. And let me tell you, his daily routine was, well, it was anything but routine. This was a life built on some serious purpose. So picture this. We're in the ancient city of Anuradhapura. It's a busy place, and our hero, THISSA, he's not some big-shot king or a famous warrior. Nope, he's a tailor. He sews for a living. But what really made him special, what truly defined him, was his incredible faith and the unique way he structured his entire life around it. Okay, so the absolute core of his life was this thing we can call the twofold vow. Think of it like a sacred promise he made to himself every single day. It was a commitment that literally sliced his workday and all the money he made right down the middle. This wasn't just some rule he followed, it was his entire operating system for living a meaningful life. And here's how it worked. It was brilliant in its simplicity. From the moment the sun came up till about noon, every single coin he made from tailoring went straight to supporting the community of monks, the Sangha. Then, from noon till sunset, every single coin went to taking care of his parents. That's it. Nothing for himself. His entire life was just this perfect, daily rhythm of giving. But, a life this focused, this different, it's bound to hit a snag, right? And that brings us to the real turning point in the story. THISSA has to make a huge choice, one that pits his personal path against what everyone else thinks he should do. So his parents come to him, and they mean well, of course. They just want what's normal for him. They're like, son, it's time to get married, have some kids, settle down. Follow the path most people take. It's the way of the world, as they put it. But THISSA, well, he wasn't on that path. His answer was polite, for sure, but also totally unwavering. He basically said, look, my whole mind, my whole energy is focused on giving and being a good person. Family life, it just doesn't interest me. It would just pull me away from my real purpose. And to really get them to understand just how strongly he felt, he used these really powerful metaphors. He said that kind of worldly attachment, it's like a spike, something sharp that just traps you. Then he said it's like sticky lacquer, once you touch it, you're just stuck. You can't get free. It holds you down. And finally, he called it a pit of mud, where the more you struggle to get out, the deeper you sink. For THISSA, a normal life wasn't about joy. It was just a series of traps. And after hearing that, well, his parents didn't have much else to say. So THISSA just keeps on living his quiet, devoted life. But here's the thing. His actions, as quiet as they were making massive waves, just not in this world. News about what he was doing was about to show up from a place nobody could have ever predicted. So the story goes, some monks who had, these incredible spiritual abilities, they visited a heavenly realm called Heavan. And while they were there, they seen these amazing palaces being built. So they ask, hey, who are these for? And the answer they get is just mind-blowing. One palace was for the king, King Sadatisim. Makes sense. But the other one was for THISSA, the tailor. His good deeds were literally on the same level as the king's. Incredible. Well, you can imagine what happens next. That story spreads like wildfire, and of course, it gets back to the king himself. I mean, could you just picture this scene? The king summons this ordinary tailor into the royal court, looks him in the eye, and asks, is this for real? Are you actually doing these things? And THISSA's answer is just perfect. No big speech, no bragging, just a simple, honest, yes, your majesty. That's it. The king is so impressed by how humble and straightforward he is that he rewards him with a ton of stuff. A house, wealth, a whole village even. THISSA goes from being a simple tailor to a major patron of the faith. All right, so let's fast forward a bit. Years go by, and THISSA's story is coming to an end. But even on his deathbed, he's got one last amazing demonstration of just how clear and powerful his mind is. So as THISSA is lying there, he starts talking to people that nobody else can see.
Naturally, everyone around him thinks, okay, he's delirious, his mind is going, but he calmly tells them, nope, I'm not delirious. There are celestial beings here, devas. They've come to get me. I just told them to hang on for a minute. Can you believe that? He told heavenly beings to wait because he wanted to finish listening to a religious talk? And just to prove he's totally lucid, he does something incredible. He just recites this list of his life's good deeds right off the top of his head. It was like he was reading off a final receipt. He'd given robes to every monk on the entire island 3 times, sponsored 1,000 talks, lit 1,000,000 lamps as offerings. And that's not even counting all the other donations. His mind was crystal clear. So how was he feeling in these final moments? Was he scared? Regretful? Not at all. He was filled with joy. He said that because he'd spent his whole life focused on doing good, he had absolutely no fear of what was coming next. He was actually excited. So what's the big takeaway from this amazing story? Let's break down the final scene and the lesson it holds for all of us. Right after he says this, those celestial chariots he was talking about, they actually appear for everyone to see. He gets to choose where he wants to go, and he picks THISSA heaven. Yep, the same place where his palace was waiting, the place where the future Buddha lives. And then he ascends. His reward becomes real, right in front of everyone's eyes. And the core message here is really simple, but so powerful. It's this idea that if you make a conscious choice to turn away from the bad stuff and always, always focus on doing good, you'll find a kind of happiness that you just can't measure. And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? Remember, THISSA was just a tailor. He wasn't a king. He had no power, no fame in the traditional sense, and yet his reward was out of this world. It really makes you question, what's the true measure of a successful life? Is it about what you get, or is it about what you give?